On tonight's program, we are live streaming a Foundry creation. We're taking plot points suggested by the community in our Foundry thread in the forums, and we are going to put those all together into a mission. It's going to be a very simple mission, maybe 3-4 maps, something like that, and we're going to sort of brainstorm as we go.
We're here too.
With me is my usual cadre of murderous rogues. We have Hippiejohn.
Hello.
Greendragoon.
Howdy.
Markhawkman.
Hey.
And of course, I'm your tame Foundry author, Drogon1701. So let's get it started. Dragoon, why don't you fire up the Foundry?
Okay.
Which we're happy to have back. That's for sure.
Yay!
And I imagine you guys will have to have to bear with us at some points because this is our first live stream.
Yeah.
I should mention up front there is a little bit of a lag, of course, between when we say things and when they actually appear.
I don't think it'll be too bad. I think it's only a second or two.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
And hello, everyone in the chat room. And I want to say a special hello to the 14 federal spy agencies that are listening in. Hi, guys. So, last week, as we were doing our live stream test, we put it out there to the community to suggest some things, some plot points that we could use. And we sort of took a few of these suggestions and mashed them together into what we're going to do tonight. Suggestions from three folks, Thay8472, who of course is also known as P. Sutherland, Lincoln in Space, and Relum Time 82. So the plot of this mission is going to be a Federation ambassador has gone to the very near edge of the Delta Quadrant to attempt to make peace with the Voth. Obviously, we are fighting them in the Dyson Sphere. This is going to be a Federation mission, so of course we're Feds. We want to make peace, and if not, shoot to kill. But we want to try and make peace first, or at least give it lip service. So this ambassador, he's gone off to the Delta Quadrant, and he's missing. And of course, your ship is the only ship that can go after him. So, we'll get to more later. So, I don't know, where do you guys like to start when you're just sort of firing up the Foundry mission to make it?
I usually start with maps.
Mm-hmm.
Hippie?
I usually start with costumes.
Ah. Well, I'm going to be kind of your hands for this, so...
See, P. Sutherland says he usually starts with costumes, and that's kind of what I tend to do, at least the ones that I know up front that I'm going to need.
All right,
I like to do like a major NPC, just so I know what they look like. Like, who is the actor that's going to be in the show? You know what I mean?
Well, we're gonna need our ambassador, that's for sure.
What's his name?
Let's ask the chat room. What should we name our ambassador?
Well, first off, what race is the ambassador?
That's a good question.
So you're going to find out what Vulcan you can?
You can just name him ambassador for now, and we can change the name later.
Sure.
P. Sutherland says make him a Packlid.
All right.
That could be funny.
Good.
And we're saying make
female.
him a Packlid, but it could be a female Packlid.
Could be a female Packlid.
Could be.
No, we never actually saw a female Packlid in
Yeah,
the
sure,
show.
why not?
All right, so female Packlid ambassador. She makes peace go.
I'm liking this mission already.
She cannot be named the name of my character with one letter changed, Captain P.F. Dennis.
Can we call her Ambassador Dennis? Oh, wait.
That is spelled Dehnis.
She makes people go and never come back.
Okay, let's face it. I mean, packloads are kind of big creatures, so...
So the first thing probably most players do is they take the bus slider and go it all the way to the right.
Yeah,
Really?
actually
You
toned
think
it down.
most people do that?
I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people won't admit to it.
Wait, what did you say?
Just kind of trying to beef her up all around.
Yeah, packloads are sort of bigger folks.
If you want to make them
in
look,
snowstorms.
if you want to make them look bigger, one thing to do is shorten the torso, shorten the arms, shorten the legs, widen the hips, and bring the stomach out to the point where it's just not, where it's not looking, ridiculously lumpy kind of thing, but it's bigger to match the hips. You can create kind of a large appearance on someone. It's about the best I've ever been able to, use our character creator for.
Okay,
it is the only weakness.
Dragoon, are you recording this on your end?
It's automatically recorded.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
least in theory.
Star Sword is asking if it will be put up for download later, which, yes, it will be.
That's the plan, but as we said before, we've never done this before.
Uh-oh, my chat is going down again. Huzzah. My system doesn't seem to like the chat room on Twitch TV, but that's okay. Seems to be back. So I'll tell you guys a little thing that I do, or I have been doing on my characters lately, is when I make a costume for the face anyway, the first thing I do is hit the randomize button a few times till I start liking what I see, and then I tweak it from there. I don't know if that's something anybody else does.
Okay, I don't think I'm about there with the body. I'm
Cool.
can randomize the head. Oh, there's no way to make a... I just find the randomize button kind of makes creepy looking.
It does make some strange looking things sometimes. I got it. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that with a different hairstyle. I don't know, I'm like trying to think like, what would a female packlet even look like? Alright, I think that works. I'm gonna do... Yeah.
Hold on a moment.
Well, packlets didn't seem to have any unusual differences between genders, so...
Yeah, we could have seen both and not known it. Ooh, we want any scars on this ambassador. Has this ambassador been beaten while she's been missing? You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm having
this guy
a
got
few
quiet all of a
stuttery
sudden.
issues, but
Okay, I gave the ambassador a scar. She's seen her share of violence.
Cool.
Gonna take down her head size a bit and increase her height. Whenever I deal with packlets, I always kind of want to fight the urge to make them sound stupid and like kind of surprise you. Like they may speak simple, but there's like a deep wisdom inside them or something like that.
In the episode, they mentioned that Packlets get perceived as being unintelligent because they basically have as a racial trait a speech impediment.
Okay. There's neckball kind of. Alright, let's put this Admiral in a uniform. What do we got to work with? Don't suppose we ever got the diplomat. Oh, we do have diplomat. Awesome.
See, that right there is one of the things about working in the Foundry that I find is what you just said happens to me all the time. Like, I don't think we have the diplomat at, oh, wait, we do. Holy crap. Kind of thing. Like, I don't think we have this exact asset or whatever I want. And then I go looking, and if there's not that exact asset, there's at least something close.
The whole outfit would look really funny on a Packlet. But yeah, I think Diplomat's more appropriate for having her as the envoy here. Are you going to give her white pants?
Yeah, I'm getting to it. Give her gloves. So they do white pants, or is it another color? Because it looks better with black.
Yeah, it's usually black with white stripes.
Yeah, I think white looks strange. I don't know, I'm kind of liking that. Anybody else got any thoughts? Those are a few seconds behind in the live stream, but it's Ambassador Dennis.
Could you get the dark part of the piece to match the front of the shirt?
Dark what?
Well, currently, I see the pants being dark gray. Could you make them match the light gray that she has for her shirt?
I don't know if I want to make them the same color. Yeah, because that looks just kind of weird, the same color. Same thing if you try to match. Yeah, because, yeah, it blends weirdly.
And Jiro Sugahara in the Admiral's office has it's a light gray shirt and black pants from what I remember.
Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry, I had a family issue going on, but I'm back.
Okay. That's the downside of doing this live streams. We can't edit these things out.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it that they can't hear well right now? In the chat room, I'm seeing that response.
It's probably Mark. You're probably a little quiet, as usual. Failed to load video.
I haven't actually said all that much.
Nor have I for the past couple of minutes.
So we should talk about, while we're working on things here, we should at least, reference the news, the fact, the Foundry editor is back up.
Obviously. We are doing this on holodeck here.
Yep, based on the fact that we can get this done on holodeck at the moment. There is still the issue that had been pointed out with the large, kind of white retexturing issue on some objects. There's this
is it happening everywhere?
It's not happening
for everything.
Yeah, it doesn't happen for every object, but what objects it's happening for, it's consistent with. And usually those are objects like the big platforms or things that you're going to want to use as a floor or a ceiling or a wall, and they end up just making the map unusable. So anything like that right now, folks, big platforms and stuff, plan your map out, know where they go, and put them in last. Get everything
Rellen's
else
asking
built.
if we know what's up with that, and honestly, I don't. I think it must be just an issue with the texturing on the little 2D representation that gets put on the map.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably
and
something
Pax
like the
is pointing out
asset
that we have
images are.
invisible objects too that are doing it.
I also
So-
don't know enough about how those are generated.
Yeah.
It's possible that when the Season 8 hit, they were regenerated from their objects, but they didn't load properly then, so they appear as white.
Yeah.
Kirkfat made the joke that he never thought he would be pining so much for the old wireframes. But there, and I want to point out as well that there's some good things that are going on. We had some more stealth updates, things that were not in patch notes. The Voth ships and some other ships like the Breen, the new Breen frigate from well, it's not new, but it's, a playable Breen frigate. Those are all in the costume creator now. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the ground costume creator that doesn't work. I don't think it's really supposed to be in there.
Yeah. I'm thinking
bunch of
these-
options. Really every option that's in the game is now in the costume creator, except they all don't work. We're still limited to exactly what we had before.
Yeah, I think
so. I'd say our ambassador looks pretty good here.
Yeah. Do we have any other characters we know about yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So let's. Why don't we get started on our first map?
Okay. So here's a good question. This is near the Delta Quadrant, right? Which is actually quite far from any current known space. So how are we getting there?
That's a good question. Suggestions?
I don't know that I want to try and recreate the Midas Array during this one session. I don't know if I could do that from memory.
Wasn't there something in like some sort of thing in Voyager that would catapult you over a huge distance?
Yeah, and someone built one of those in one of the Foundry missions, didn't they?
Well, that was the collector's array or whatever. That sporocystean life form that hold them there.
In the Caretaker?
Yeah. No, the Caretaker's
Yeah,
myth.
Caretaker. That's what it was.
Oh.
Anyway, we could do some sort of experimental thing that'll launch you over a huge distance.
Just a point. We actually have to get them back by the end of the mission.
Why?
Because we're not doing a two-parter.
It's a one-way trip.
I was going to say, make it just, it's on the way to the Dyson sphere, which we know is supposedly in the Delta Quadrant,
Say they found, they found readings of Voth activity in a nearer solar system. And so he went there.
We can't use the way we got to the Dyson sphere to get anywhere else. Because it only goes
we gotta find some other sort of entry.
What if, does anybody remember the name of that starship from the dev blog? The one that's off at the Delta Quadrant.
Good question.
No, I don't.
Una or something like that? I think it had taken years to get out there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that. What if they've set up like some sort of temporary transwarp gate?
Hey, there.
And that's how you get out there.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, we're trying to build something quick, so.
So yeah, make a space map for us with a transwarp gate on it. This will be. We'll do the far end, and we'll say there's a gate. Whenever we decide what our entry point is, we'll say there's a gate in that system. You go through the gate, and then our first map is coming out the other side.
Unless you wanted to try for a intersystem
you could do that.
transition. It's a little bit tougher, but I think we can handle it.
Mm-hmm. It'd be really easy, I think. While you do that, I will go find the name of that ship.
So we call the map Gateway to the Stars.
Sure, that's a great one. That's a good name.
Okay, well, at the very least I can get the some of this setup going. Let's see, what have we got? Portals.
So yeah, everybody in the chat room, any ideas that you want to just type in and have us try to incorporate? I mean, we're doing this because the Foundry is fun and we love using it. So,
and one of the most fun things that I've found since I started this podcast was brainstorming with you guys. So throw ideas out there.
I don't think we could use the X's on the Dyson sphere because it's not an area that's accessible to us right now.
No, we gotta say this gate is somewhere else.
Well, Captain PF Dennis just threw us an idea in the chat room that's a good one. We have slipstream tech. We have advanced slipstream tech. That's a good enough explanation for how we get a partial distance toward the Dyson sphere. You know, that maybe boosted by the transwarp gate, our slipstream drive gets us where we need to be.
Okay, it is the USS Callisto.
Okay, awesome. Remember that.
Ship.
Do we know what class?
I'm not seeing it.
No, it was I thought it was like either Luna or Vesta.
I was thinking it was a Luna. And it has to be a Luna because the Vesta that we have in the Foundry doesn't work.
Is that Callisto spelled with a Y?
Let me spell it for you. Callisto.
Alright. Luna class. Oh, there you are, Luna class.
And since we don't know, of course, what it's supposed to look like, we have a little bit of artistic license available to us.
That's true. Alright, any thoughts about how to do a Luna? Cool thing is we got the Comet parts. Comet's a cool ship.
So did we have any other news this week, though, that we can talk about while we're working on things?
Other news. Brandon did pop into the forum where people are asking about the next challenge, and he said soon. That's about it there.
Yeah, he actually it was in the black. He said probably next week.
That's a recon science vessel, right? That's a perfect choice.
I've always liked this ship.
So have I.
It was like a fan design or something, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't that Mark Redemaker's, design? For the, Titan novels?
Might be. So shall we have the Callisto waiting on the other side of this transwarp gate?
Could be. Maybe, I mean, it is a science vessel. Maybe it's the one that can generate the transwarp gate.
That'll work.
Because I figured it'll look like a normal transwarp gate on our side, but on their side it'll be like some temporary, like, couple of satellite deals.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Missions. I'm missing the struts. Where are you, struts? Right now, it's got all these weird extra options that don't do anything. Pylons, there you are.
Hey, congratulations to Relum in our chat room for finishing his semester today.
Yay, Relum! Relum, what were you studying?
Wow, that looks really weird with all the spiky things.
Yeah, I wanted to look a little bit different.
Appropriate for an experimental science vessel, though.
Yeah.
Relum says he's studying a lot of BS.
Bachelor of Science?
That sounds like college.
Which is like working a bit of a tinge of the, or whatever their science, tactical, or engineering. Just kind of give a visual cue to the...
It's a nice looking ship.
Yeah.
So the mechanics of the first map. So essentially we want people to fly up to this transwarp gate and activate it, which will play an animation, probably like a go to warp animation, something like that. Mm-hmm. That gate will disappear and you'll be in a new system. So maybe we'll spawn a planet, spawn some nebula.
Yeah, enough to make the map look different.
And spawn this ship, and then you'll talk to this ship. And they'll tell you that, the diplomat's vessel passed this way, and they'll give you coordinates to go to from their last known position.
Yeah, that sounds
I don't think I'm
reasonable.
We want to keep it reasonable and simple. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is keep it simple.
we can always, Dragoon can always come back and expand on this later, as we know he likes to do. He's a meticulous person.
What do you guys think?
I love it.
I am such a ship junkie. You wonder why.
Well, while we're in the costume creator, we'll need an officer to talk to on this ship.
Crew. She needs a captain. Do we have does the devlog mention a captain?
Probably.
Bergen, you had the...
I've got it open here. It doesn't.
Captain...
It has a very interesting registry number. Yeah, that's exactly.
Do you know, when I'm trying to speed through things, and I don't need to necessarily, we don't necessarily need to create the captain, because there are at least 6 Starfleet captains that are available to us in
You can always do a default. and just not name it, just say USS Callisto Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just communications officer, say, hey, the captain's in the bath right now.
So what race do you want the captain to be?
Oh, just whatever one of those default ones you got. I think there's a human, right? There's maybe a Vulcan.
Yeah. As far as we know, the Callisto isn't going to play a large role in this mission.
No, it's just a
it's just
a gatekeeper.
All right, I need a place marker to fuel this puppy. Let's do 5.
Always remember to set the radius on your reach markers.
Yeah, defaults to 0, which is nothing. We should probably throw up something better for a background.
Well, when you're switching systems, you want to keep the background pretty generic.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But I don't like to...
You want to make it just pretty much like a Starfield or use the systems-based ones, things like that.
Yeah, but I'd like to throw at least something subtle. Because, I mean, honestly, I've always felt like the default stars just look horrible.
Yeah. Blue clouds. Blue clouds works.
Okay. And
so, drop down a planet and some nebula that we can spawn when you go to this new system.
Okay, let's throw a nice big M-class planet.
There we go. That's really big.
Yeah, but I wanted to feel like there's a big change when you go through this thing.
Yep.
For my sake, I'm going to go ahead and drop this into the storyline.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because we know at least one.
Mm-hmm. We'll need a reach marker objective. Realm Time is saying, oh no, not the Zorbane reach marker. Zorbane, of course, is well known for his hatred of space reach markers, as am I, honestly. Although I'm quite a hypocrite, so I'll use them. In fairness, I'll use them.
In this case, we've got it well marked.
Mm-hmm. And it's straight in front of the player. There should be no reason that the player would go up or down as they fly to it.
The player, and it's literally less than 10 kilometers.
And it's inside a big object, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make sure all of this. Use the board portal.
Now, do we want an interact object there?
Or?
To play an animation?
No, I was actually literally going to have them fly straight through and then suddenly be on the other side.
Well, that works.
If I come back to this, I might add...
play with reach markers and stuff, but...
Yeah, I might add a corridor like I did for Midas.
Relum says in the chat, hey, if you have a gatekeeper at the Delta Quadrant, shouldn't you have a keymaster in the Alpha? Breaking out the Ghostbusters jokes here.
Rick Moranis. Alright, so I've learned from past experience that it's best to... I'm tying it to the objective.
Oh.
So the objective is enter the gate. Kind of makes it easier to move things around.
Mm-hmm.
What else am I missing? I need the planet I just added. So yeah, I was doing Midas Part 1. I made the mistake of layering down everything, and then going back and setting all the state transitions, mm-hmm. which took forever. Especially because
you like to sort of do it as you go.
Well, yeah, it changed a lot because originally that scene had you basically going through the gate, pretending to go off and do something, ending up in the final battle of the Part 3, and then flying back through to the Midas Array, and then the whole mission was going to be you're delivering your report. And just for good measure, I'm going to throw a generic Federation ship here. What a good old galaxy.
One thing I like to do if I know I'm going to need to trigger a bunch of things off the same object or the same objective, I will change one thing, the state for one object, and then duplicate it for the rest of the objects. Just duplicate and change the object.
Another thing I learned the hard way.
And don't forget to name that NPC.
That's a really good way to deal with a multiple object state change like that, Drogan. That's really good advice.
It saved me a lot of time.
Do I want to keep this? I'm trying to decide whether I want to keep this the board portal or if
do the Starfleet version, isn't there?
There is no Starfleet version. There is a mirror.
Oh no, you're talking about the Portal FX. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a mirror universes work.
Yeah. Mirror universe is purple, I think.
Time is kind of bluish, isn't it?
Yeah, time is blue, so that might be a good...
Yeah, let's do time.
choice. Alright, I'm gonna duplicate this.
Right, well, which color's the fleck green one?
It's kind of orangish. Orangish red.
It's red.
That's what I used for my gravitational eddies in Purity 6.
Haven't played it yet. No spoilers.
They don't figure hugely into the plot.
In one of my missions, I decided to make something that looked weird, so I stuck two of them on top of each other.
Okay. Alright, just put a second portal in so that you have something to look back at once you're through. Alright, let's throw down the Callisto on the other side.
Yep.
Haven't put down any geometry for the other side yet.
So our next objective after this one will be a talk to contact for the Callisto.
Yep. I'll throw that down real quick.
And then you can set the Callisto to spawn on objective in progress, I think. Alternatively, if you want to make it spawn only exactly when you want it to, like if you want to have it show up before its objective, but you don't want it to always be there, you can, instead of doing a talk to contact, you can do it like an interact object with an invisible object right on top of the ship.
Yeah. Thankfully for us, our Callisto objective is immediately after the gate.
Nope. So we don't need that fancy bit, but.
Alright, so I'll go back to that. Okay.
Well, one other option would be to have a reach marker that's not part of an objective, and use that as the trigger for spawning the Callisto.
Could do that.
Alright, so what are we thinking about the other side? Nebula?
Let's do some nebula.
Yeah. Maybe an asteroid belt, too.
Let's
do some of the huge cloud.
Yeah, but I'm debating on color.
Valentine says blue.
I don't want to use blue because blue is too synonymous with Federation space.
Ooh. That looks nice and white, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's okay.
Now see, here's where you could use my trick. Is just do one of those, and then set it to the trigger how you want, and then duplicate it for the rest.
The other problem I have is I can rush into things. I'm thinking about it.
Wow, those things look weird with the current collisions.
Yeah. Ruptures in space-time.
Yep, there's the, that's what we were talking about.
We hope they get that fixed.
Really.
Quickly.
Hope they get that fixed.
Another great tip is remember to vary your height.
Mm-hmm. Makes it look a little bit more natural.
And let's throw in some asteroids just for fun. Full fields of them, in fact. And of course, as you would remind me, set my objectives.
Mm-hmm. Set the objective on the first one, and the other thing you want to do with your, like, things like asteroid fields and nebula is rotate them randomly so that they're not quite all uniform.
I'm watching the clock. How are we doing on time?
Let's see. I think we've been at this about half hour-ish. Yeah, Paul's saying he's very put off by the white blobs. I think definitely we all are.
Yep.
It makes it very hard to see everything, especially if you're doing a really complicated custom build. So I guess I'd recommend not doing anything complicated right now. It's a good time to work on dialogue.
That's what I've been doing.
There are certain props where I've noticed that some props are affected to a lesser degree than others, such as Cardassian buildings. I mean, it's mostly white, but you can see tan outlines on, like, the edges of the roofs and stuff.
Yeah.
So even though it doesn't look right, you can figure out.
See, I fully expect that this is not something that they're going to just leave, because on some level, this does make the Foundry very hard to use.
Yeah.
Especially considering that many of the items...
it's a really bad part.
Mm-hmm, many of the items that are affected are things that people use for custom map builds and floors and such. And so what I'm doing in the interim personally, what I've been working on is with missions that I have, in the hopper, or missions that are in my brain that I'm working on, I'm taking the time to create the costumes for them, to lay out the storyboard and not put in any details into the map.
Anything you can possibly do without doing heavy work on maps.
Without having to do the heavy build. Yeah, work on your dialogue trees, work on other things. Just something like this doesn't make the Foundry unusable. It just makes it makes it difficult, but heck, we've been dealing with difficult from
day one.
From day one.
We're a hardy bunch.
We are. So you're adding a dialogue here.
Yeah, I've decided that you needed a bit of
instruction.
Dialogue. Yeah, just basically some kind of introduction.
Yeah, I'd say let's see, make it an engineer.
How is it like all the default ones have
kits on them or armor?
Yeah.
do the one of these guys, one of the aliens.
The only captain I could find that wasn't completely decked out in gear. Call him Captain Tavel. Okay, so the way this is... So we're thinking we'll warp into the system, be greeted by this Galaxy class. He basically says... kind of gives you the situation. Do we want to hold off on this, or do we want to try and set up this map now?
Yeah, we might as well type in something right now.
All right.
Yeah, like if nothing else, get it filled in some.
Greetings. Rank. Welcome to the question mark system.
Quick, someone in the chat, give us the name of a system.
Well, I assume it'll be wherever we pick our mission door to be.
Wait, does it need to be an actual solar system, or can we have this be like a...
Right, it could be, I think Dragoon's right, just whatever we pick our mission door to be.
Because, yeah, I mean, this isn't particularly important to the plot, so it could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Have the gate ready for your departure. Someone once told me that Vulcans should never use contractions.
Well, they don't normally.
You may proceed through when ready. This mission might be a little dialogue light for now. Okay, that's enough for an intro. So, authors, I know we lost a while back the ability to add ships as contacts, but if you're using a dialogue with contact, you can still do that, because the ship will be the default dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
The default
That's
contact.
good, yeah.
Welcome to the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, Lincoln in space. That Vulcan is everywhere. he's in cryptic missions. He's the Vulcan that tries to escape Hakiv's ship or whatever in that one scene in the Romulan story.
No, he's not. Always. Do they use that same sort of Vulcan skin for the EMH in the old tutorial?
No, I think that one's pretty unique actually. But it's always fun in the cryptic missions to see the default contacts. You know, all the ones that we have in the Foundry. I always find that hilarious. Like in, Sphere of Influence, the engineering security officer you have to talk to.
What was that, Mark? The old tutorial looked like the photonic bridge officer.
Yeah, it's pretty much...
the photonic science officer.
I think they just made it a Vulcan for the Zachary Quinto version.
So I think what we want for this dialogue, Dragoon, is probably something just simple. We have the last known coordinates of the diplomatic shuttle. I'm sending them to you now.
Watching a guy type, so exciting.
The drama of live streaming.
Doesn't have to be complicated.
Nope.
Throw in a quick extra. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I could just you put it in the map transition.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we got one map done.
One map done.
We should probably test it.
Always test.
Always run through it. Make sure it looks like we want it to.
Yeah. I've been trying to avoid excessive previews just because of time.
Yep.
So I hope I placed everything right.
We'll find out. And that, of course, is the essential thing about testing is that you'll find out whether you did all of those triggers correctly.
Do you think we should time the load time?
Well, we're about to find out. Now, I didn't notice any load time irregularities on Twitter. Or not Twitter, Tribble.
Okay. This says to me I did not do the triggers properly. Because all of that should be hidden.
No, when I was tinkering earlier today, I noticed that map loads, even on things that were very simple maps, were taking a minute or two just to load the map.
Okay, yeah, that totally didn't work.
So we need to troubleshoot and see where you went wrong.
Okay, that's very odd. Because all of this looks like it should.
Yeah. Hidden to visible.
Yeah. It's got the wrong objective, but yeah, this should be, and it definitely triggered because the Callisto Hail came up.
Valentine is suggesting pull the spawn point back a bit.
You think it's outside? Well, give it a shot. It'd be
Can't hurt. And I would suggest when you load it up, hit the reset map button. See if that helps.
That's a good point.
Because sometimes that'll shake things loose and make sure that it actually resets to as if you were starting the map.
So, has anyone been doing much in the Foundry?
No, I've been doing the winter event pretty heavily.
Okay, let's try this.
Nope, still got an issue. Okay, hit reset map.
Yeah, I've hit it a couple times and
Nothing. That's very strange.
is it possible we found a bug?
Hit return to editor. They're saying maybe you didn't actually set your reach marker.
Well, the reach marker is tied to the
Yeah, but maybe you didn't set go to the objective window, the story tab.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, you're absolutely right. There it is. I just could have sworn I set that.
Yep, you didn't actually set the objective to which reach marker it should be.
There it is.
All right, now let's test it. I can't take credit for this. This is Captain P.F. Dennis's suggestion there. In realm time.
Yeah. Even veterans make stupid mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Pax Federatica is telling us that he has published Valley of the Shadow Part 2 for Fed Allied Romulans. That's great because we always need more Romulan missions. And several of us, I think, played Part 1, didn't we? I know I did.
That looks much better.
The planet is still an issue.
No, it's supposed to be there.
Oh, it's supposed to be there. So the planet despawns and the nebula spawn.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I'll have to rename the Galaxy class later. Oh, that works really nicely.
That is awesome. Are you going to despawn the portal or leave it?
I would despawn it, but
actually, I'm
not here very long.
I'm kind of thinking leave it.
I'm thinking leaving it too, just because you're not here very long.
Yeah. Okay, so next map.
Yay!
Now, my thought with this map.
I'm going to try to rename the Galaxy class ship.
Yes, we do need to rename the Galaxy class ship. I'm going to call it the U.
I just noticed that it has the full PC name on it.
Relum wants to call it the USS Keymaster.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Keymaster it is. I don't know what Starfleet was thinking, but they did it.
There it is, the Keymaster.
Brilliant.
Okay,
so next map. Okay, so my thought with this map was, you're going to the last known coordinates of this ambassador and the ship that was carrying her, and you drop out of warp in the middle of this huge battle between the Voth and the Undine. The Undine are losing. They're desperate. They call you and they say, "Can you help us?"
Okay. I'm liking this.
We may know where your person is hidden, or your VIP is, and we'll help you find them if you help us win this.
I call this last known coordinate.
Sure, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Normally I would just name it whatever the system is, but since we're working in spaces that may or may not actually have a name, or at least we don't know the name,
yeah,
I'm giving it more creative names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Once again, I hate default stars.
Yeah, this one you can go wild on.
We're gonna kind of stick with the brown theme.
It's a 1970s mission.
Yeah, it's a Deltacon. Have you ever noticed that in the backgrounds of, like Voyager, they use a lot of browns?
No.
I'm sure I didn't notice that.
But now I know, and knowing is half the battle.
Now I'm not going to be able to see anything else when I watch that show.
I know, right?
Sure they did. I'm sure they didn't always do it.
Ruined it for me. I'm just going to be going, oh god, it's so brown.
I think it was more like subtle highlights, like a very faint clouds in the background or stuff like that. Okay.
Do we want to have the destination system have a very deep background or just a slight background?
I just put in some nebula clouds. We'll see how strong they are. Okay, so other than the space battle, what does this map need? Are we going to be going down to the ground at any point?
Maybe our objective is to subdue and board a Botha, one of those big dreadnought things.
It's going to be tricky since we don't have any Voth assets. Then again, we don't have any Voth assets.
I thought we could place Voth ships.
We can place Voth ships. We don't have like anything.
We don't have any interior assets. Yeah,
but we don't actually have a ton of examples of Voth interiors. I think we have one.
Yeah, Voth interiors, from what I remember from Voyager, were gray and kind of generic looking. The Voth's aesthetic sense seemed to be extremely utilitarian. You'll probably just get away with using the Fed Science interiors.
We also don't necessarily need to go into a Voth ship. That just, I mean, it does add a layer of complication for, we got a little over an hour left, so, we might not want to add that layer of complication. Just thinking in terms of
whatever
time.
we do, it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it would be an either or. You either go down to a planet or go to a ship.
I'm going to say let's not rule out either just yet. I'll throw a planet in that could be beamable.
My thought was maybe we'd ask the chat room.
Yeah,
planet or ship.
Chat room. What do you
planet
think?
Or ship, guys?
Lincoln said aliens versus space dinos. So.
That is kind of the thing here.
All right. Well, they're deciding that I'm going to start throwing in the putting together the battle.
Now, what we're going to need is Voth mobs, of course, and then friendly Federation mobs, or maybe friendly Romulan mobs, reskinned as Undine ships. And what I do is I put the mobs down now, and we can reskin them later.
Or I can reskin them and then duplicate them.
That'll work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can I not duplicate?
There are certain things sometimes where it won't let you. Try Control-C, Control-V.
Oh, all I got was a planet.
Huh.
Darn.
This could be one of those things that, doesn't let you.
Wow.
So Relentime is suggesting that we go down to a planet and have it be an abandoned colony where the Voth have occupied, and that's where they're holding this ambassador.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Works for me.
I like that.
So we've already got the planet on screen, so we can go there.
Actually, the planet I chose is very desert looking, so it would make a great abandoned planet.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I like.
Since we're kind of figuring that, this is sort of far from where the Voth territory really is. If we want to expand this mission to future date, we could go into why the Voth are here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's in the sequel.
Can do that in our next live stream.
Alright, I got 3 groups of...
yes, part 2.
Those are pretty well. 3 groups should do it. Obviously, that may not end up being a huge space battle, but...
It should be pointed out that, of course, not all of these little red dots will spawn.
Right.
True.
Depending on how many people you have in the group.
Well, I've got 2 frigate groups and 1 cruiser group.
Okay.
I'm going to offset it with just 1 frigate group for the Undyne and...
Except you got a fire group there.
Oh, I do have... Try that again. You think I can just go through and reskin these later?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Today, the part of the Undyne will be played by the Federation forces.
Not like we actually have a choice in the matter.
Lincoln in Space is suggesting sequel: Aliens versus Dinosaurs versus Predators.
Ooh, who gets
Hirogen? In other words, Hirogen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Peace Otherland says then versus Tovan Kev.
Tovan and Kev would kill them all.
The most hated man in all of the universe.
I like him.
And
I've kept him on all my Romulan
Sutherland's
characters.
explanation for why
You've
the
had
Voth
to keep him
is just plain
You had no choice.
Yeah, but he's like my first officer in every case.
So I put the spawn point a little bit further away so we can have an opening dialogue that says, please help us.
Oh, I'm planning to do that. I'm going to put invisible walls around the player.
Mm-hmm. So they can't go fight until we want them to.
Exactly. I don't want that much.
That'd be a bit much.
Alright.
Of course, the weird thing is what I'm seeing on the live stream is slightly delayed from what you're actually doing.
Yeah. Well, at the moment I'm going in to throw in a, actually, might have to do this through a map dialogue.
Well, I think pop-up dialogue should work. We'll probably need a kill objective.
Yeah, I think it won't work quite the way we want as the first objective because it'll automatically bring it up. Or I mean, it'll already be in progress when the mission starts.
Sure.
So,
I should say you're kind of building this along the same lines that I tend to build space maps, which is vary the height of backgrounds and objects and nebula and things like that, but have all of the objectives sort of on a flat plane.
yeah. Don't think we have enough time for anything more complicated.
No. And I think it seems to, I don't have any data on this or anything, but it seems to me like it might make it easier for the player.
Yeah. And we're not building with anything that's particularly grandiose.
Nope.
So, it's not like, I mostly am just varying the height just enough to prevent it from looking flat. Okay, so this will be our opening dialogue. So, tactical officer. And go rank.
So Sutherland suggested having moving the enemies farther apart and then having them control towards each other while you're zoning in.
That's a great suggestion.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What do you say?
Sutherland is saying that set the NPCs a little bit further apart and then have them patrol slowly towards each other. That gives the player the time to load in and read the dialogue. I think we won't worry about that now, since we're on time limit, but that's a great suggestion.
Yeah. I want to try it with this, see if we can make it work with them already engaged.
Because it's going to be a really quick dialogue.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to go for
something like Voth ships are fighting Undine, and then we're receiving a distress call, and then the quick thing from the Undine is, please help us, we're under attack. Or to any ship out there, we're under attack. We're making the Undine the good guys here.
How would an Undine hail you?
Well, maybe they've altered their systems to be able to work so they can communicate with us primitive life forms.
Well, presumably Undine ships have the ability to emit modulated radio wave pulses, at the very least. I mean, because their ships, despite being biotechnology, have the equivalent of warp drive, after all.
Yeah, but they...
would make sense if they might have the equivalent.
They never hailed in Voyager. It was always telepathic.
Well, they were newcomers to our region of space.
Yeah.
So maybe in the past 40 years they've developed a way.
Although I guess they did do it on the recreation, Starfleet recreation.
That's true.
They talked over.
Yeah, they actually did make working replicas of comm badges for that simulation.
All right. Lost ships are attacking a group of Undine vessels. We're being Sir, we're being hailed. ... by the Undine.
On screen.
All right, let's see what Undine we've got.
I was assuming that we do have some Undine to put in here, right?
You know, when they had
we have Undine since the first version of the Foundry.
Good. So I've never done a mission with him before.
Funny enough, when we had those busted NPC costumes with the costume import, you could actually import an Undine and actually play around with his armor and everything.
Nice.
Okay, so Undine Captain hails us, and what in the world does he say?
To any ship in the area, we are under attack.
Yeah, distress call.
You figure, the Voth are really technologically advanced. They could menace the Undine.
Yeah, and they actually have very different approaches to it, too. Because the Undine are very biologically advanced.
The Voth are very technologically advanced.
Oh.
Although the Voth loves cybernetics and presumably genetic engineering. Although,
presumably.
to a lesser extent.
We need your help. I don't know what else to make this guy say.
That's all he needs to say for now.
We need assistance for disposing of these annoying reptiles. Because it's an undine. They tend to come off as arrogant people.
Mark's got a point.
Mm-hmm.
I like Relum's idea of having them call us bipeds.
Hey, biped.
I don't know how to work it into this dialogue. Maybe
Right.
We can work that in another one.
I agree with Kestrel. A spell check would be very nice.
Yeah, right.
You're seeing all the horrendous typos you've been making.
Actually, what Kestrel said was that she wants to have a spell check for her use.
She can share. Tactical officer follows up with the order, sir. That's not. I guess we don't really have much time for a choice in this, so I guess it's just engage the Voss ships.
It'd be kind of fun if you say, nah, we're done, and the mission ends there.
Yeah, it's too much complication right now.
Alright, so we got that dialogue objective. Do you have the invisible wall set to despawn?
Yes.
Good.
Hang on, I'm setting up the kill objective.
Excellent. So once you've killed the guys, I think probably the next objective would be a dialogue with the Undine. You tell them what you're doing out there. And they say something like, we know they're holding another of you bipeds on this nearby planet.
Alright, I'm actually going to be a little sneaky about it. After the battle, I'm going to secretly throw in another Undine ship. So anything that remains should try to return to its former position.
Yeah, generally.
And just in case everything is destroyed, one ship will have survived.
So the player doesn't like, all of us ships have been destroyed. Who am I talking to?
Yeah, I've gotten that one once or twice.
Huh.
That's why you remember that mission I reviewed on one of our very early episodes where he had the option in the dialogue of, this such and such ship has been destroyed or such and such ship survived the battle. And the dialogue would be different based on which event occurred. So you had to look around and see if, okay, that ship did survive, so I clicked that one. I thought that was a very cool way to do it.
Yeah.
But obviously it requires two different branches of dialogue. Or more than two.
In this case, it's just going to spawn once the objective comes up.
Mm-hmm.
It should be in the midst of whatever's left of the Undine.
United States is what you're looking
for. Yeah. The downside is you guys are a few seconds behind me.
Yeah, you already found it when I suggested it.
All right. So I might throw an extra pop-up dialogue just before this, just to acknowledge that.
Sometimes I like to throw that in there, just, something from your officer going, yay, we've won.
Yeah, just some acknowledgement.
Because, that's something that they would do in the show, is, Worf would say, all targets destroyed, Captain. The Voth ships have been destroyed. Strangely, the Undine are not locking weapons on us. And say, let's hail them and see what they want.
Okay, so once we hail the Undine, what in the world are they going to tell us?
Ooh, say some way for them to thank us without sounding like they're actually thanking us.
That's perfect. You fight well for a biped.
Going to have this,
That's good.
Are we going to have this set after Light in the Dark, where the Undine basically do an informal peace treaty with the Federation?
You'll have them not terribly hostile, I think.
I don't remember that mission going well. In fact, I don't remember
that mission.
Escaping for our lives while we destroyed an Iconian gate. I mean, we found out why they were mad, but...
I thought there was some dialogue in there from the Undine that went something along the lines of, "Oh, okay, we'll leave you alone now."
I don't remember that. Unless they've changed it in the last... I mean, it's been a couple of years since I've actually played that far in.
Yeah.
I think these guys at least are grateful for your assistance, even if they may not show it very well.
Okay, so I got you fight well for a biped.
What are you doing in this area of space?
I like Sutherland's suggestion, though.
The weak have perished.
I'll throw it in too.
Realm Time's got a good one. You fight well for a biped, and since you helped us, we will not destroy you. Today. So we tell them, and they say something like, we were tracking this reptilian incursion. They have a small base on the planet below, or something like that.
Sounds good.
Your diplomat may be held there, if she is still alive.
I respond with a question about, what are you doing in this region of space? We are searching for our lost ambassador. Okay, now we can move on to... We tracked... The vessels here. We witnessed them capture one of your shuttles. Anything else this guy wants to say?
We believe they have a small outpost on the planet below, something like that.
Maybe phrase it so that he gives you the coordinates of the outpost?
Yeah, so you know where to beam to.
For your assistance, we will provide these coordinates to you. How? They're not going to show up again in this mission, are they?
I think not for now.
Okay.
It seems like a good idea to have them go back to whatever they were doing before the Bach.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If we expand this mission later, we can bring it back.
Should we meet again, your lives will be forfeit. I don't know if I know how to spell forfeit.
Forfeit.
Thank you.
That's one of those words I rarely spell correctly the first time.
Yeah. Normally I just Google search it.
Lincoln says, "We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our morgue."
Yeah, I think that would be hard to work in. Captain responds, "Thank you. I think."
Chat room has spell checker. Nice.
That's good. That's good. If you need to know anything else, spelling wise, just ask the chat room.
Alright, I think that wraps up this conversation. Gonna throw in one last dialogue by your officers saying they're going to warp, so we have a reason to get rid of them.
This is one of those conversations where I feel like the Undine would cut off communications like mid-sentence. Thank you, click. I think.
This feels like a science officer dialogue. I know there's weird problems with trying to figure out which bridge officer is talking, or should be talking.
Sometimes, because of course it wasn't delineated into those three on the shows.
Yeah, they mixed it around. It makes me wonder if, like, the TNG writers sitting around the writer's room figuring out, okay, who gets this line? Who gets this line?
I would be willing to bet they had to. The ship is being hailed. Who answers a hail?
Well, you know, they wrote put together the TNG technical manual just for themselves so they could keep everything straight.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think I would have had to do something like that.
Have gone to warp. And I will use that to despawn them. Set course for the planet. Okay. Gonna throw a reach marker in that I'm about to put down for entering orbit of the planet.
No, don't forget to come back and set it.
Yeah.
Hey, Hippie is still here.
Yeah, Hippie's here.
Just we're kind of quiet.
Very quiet.
Alright, so these guys need to... need to disappear as soon as...
I think you do the same thing I do, Dragoon. You click every button and every tab before you find the one that you want. You always click that one last.
Yeah. I'm buying time while I figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so those guys go...
It's good. It creates tension on the live stream. Will Dragoon find the correct objective?
And you are going to go when you're complete.
So I would say definitely here's I have a kind of a community question, I guess, for both people in the chat room and who listen to this later, of course, which would really be as simple as, like, what we're doing right now is making a really super simple mission with input from as many people as want to give it to us, and, you know, just little chats back and forth that we've had. And what I'm wondering is, this is, to me, one of the best ways to stay positive about the things we can do, is working as a group and sharing ideas. And so as a community question, from me anyway, is put your ideas out there on how people can work together to, you know, continue to use the Foundry in ways that are entertaining and fun. And keep your spirits up, kind of thing. I'd love to see what other people are doing, you know, read what other people are doing to do that when we,
Yeah, now's the time to ramp it up. I mean, let's get out there, let's do things, and tell your friends about Foundry missions that you play.
Yeah.
Recommend to your fleet to play Foundry missions.
Yeah.
If you find a Foundry mission that you absolutely love, go on the forums and post about it.
Yeah. Find ways to help people understand how the search works. We know the search isn't working great, but we know how to make it work. So start posting threads in the forum, start talking about it in chat rooms that you visit so that people know how to use it. You know, just keep talking about the Foundry. Keep it positive.
Ask not what the Foundry can do for you. Ask what you can do for the Foundry.
Yeah.
Map transition dialogue. That's obviously very important.
Yeah, I was remembering I meant to put this in, and I forgot to when we finished up the last map, which of course we can't put in until we put in the next map. Okay, so next map is actually going to be a planet.
Yes, we need a ground map. So you said, which sort of planet did you put in there? Like a deserty looking one?
Yes. Actually, we should test this real quick.
Yes. Most certainly.
See if my spawning you in the middle of a battle works effectively.
Yeah, Lincoln in Space in the chat room says, realizing that as an author, the best way to help the Foundry right now is to play missions. Lots of them.
It's a good point.
I mean, we're always talking about how authors have to work hard for reviews. Well, as authors, we can help each other out by playing each other's missions.
Well, I'm not getting shot. Like, soon until I finish out that dialogue, and then everybody starts attacking me, which is awesome.
That worked well.
Yeah.
Now, if I had my choice in an expanded version of this mission, I would say have something to either help come in on the side of the Voth or come in on the side of the Undine. it might be a little more tricky to come in on the side of the Voth because, of course, we can't have them in a communications. It'd be tough.
Mm-hmm.
We can't show their faces anyway. You can because Voth are in the costume creator, the ships are, so you can have a talk to contact with a Voth ship. So you can do it that way.
The Voth are doing that stupid repair thing.
You always gotta hit the repair ship.
That start worked out really well, though.
Yeah.
This, what I'm seeing right here is one of the things I was a little bit worried about in designing Voth missions when I started in my mind thinking about it is testing it in the Foundry is going to be so hard unless you use the kill target kind of thing because...
Well, that even doesn't do it because they like to just drift there and...
let the ward repair ships come and fix them, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they've destroyed all of your ally ships at this point.
Pat's made an interesting comment about the balance of the Voth ships.
I think he's right about that.
I do too. I think it's just, part of it may be the enemy mob and just the way they're designed.
I would say we probably need to put down a few more friendly mobs.
Yeah, probably. From the look of it.
It's possible that the AI doesn't know how to react to Voth tactics.
And probably the AI that governs Voth is maybe a bit more advanced as well.
Could be.
Looks like there's one still alive here.
And it's firing at the Voth. What has that reflected their energy?
So yeah, officially,
And they're all dead.
I have a confession to make. I literally bought the Steam starter pack just because I could bring the Steam Runner into the Foundry.
I think that's what the shift you were using was.
I have to say one of the things I've enjoyed about the Foundry, about having the Foundry character and not leveling him, is that I get to use my NX class all the time.
I've got the Constitution, and I think they gave it away at one point. But yeah, I wanted something that looked like and felt like it was a max level ship. He'll blow up on his own eventually. Okay, so start went great. Battle not so much.
Battle's just it's heavy. The balance is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna do like maybe two groups of
throw in a battleship or two, maybe.
I would say two groups of get rid of the cruiser. Just do like two groups of like frigates, and then swap these.
But of course, the important thing is, other than combat balance, the map worked correctly.
Yeah,
it's always good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I should bump them up to battleship just to make them really tough?
Yeah,
so they don't blow up.
That's a lot of times if I want to try and do everything I can to make sure a friendly mob survives, I make him a battleship for starters.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to tighten up this battle. That was...
They were a bit far away from where the NPC spawns.
Yeah. Okay, I should tighten things up. You think we need a second test, or... I think it works pretty well.
I think we're probably good for now.
Okay, yeah, we are sure. So, let's move on to the next
Let's move
map.
on to the ground map.
Outdoor.
Mm-hmm.
Pax does say that he made a test map once and set a huge 3-way Voth versus Undine versus Borg battle and ran it several times. The Voth were the last faction standing every time. That doesn't surprise me.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I think we're probably going to see that. I mean, you'd probably see the same thing if you did, like, Borg versus Undine versus Alachi. Because Cryptic is getting better at making their mobs fight better as they go along.
Well, they're trying to beat us.
Just not working.
Actually, that makes me wonder what would happen if you would have pit a Voth fleet versus an Alachi fleet.
That'd be worth watching.
Alachi love to spam viral tricks.
So what sort of map do we want here?
Desert options aren't a ton. I don't think it's showing me all of them.
What's that Arias 3 one?
Hang on. Arias 3. That is the Great Link, or the New Link mission, which probably wouldn't be very good for our purposes. It's a pre-built map.
Sure. This question is, do we want pre-built stuff on it or not?
I almost want to say, what about the...
If we're doing Voth buildings, what style of construction do we want to use? Like the generic colony buildings?
Well, it was suggested earlier in the chat room that maybe it was an abandoned structure from another race, or, abandoned base from a different race that the Voth are occupying.
Could we retrofit something from, like, the Colosseum?
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe build a...
Have them spawn up in that north part, or have you beam in that north part, and so we've got holding cells in the other parts that you can find the prisoner in.
True.
And between here and there, you fight some Voth.
So doesn't that have an Iconian gateway baked into the map, though?
It does.
Weren't we supposed to work in Iconian gateway somehow?
Somebody did suggest that.
The explanation for why the Voth are there.
There you go. An Iconian gate. All right, now we definitely have to use this map.
You turn around and see it, and Captain, I think that's an Iconian gateway.
Huh. I'll admit I didn't
say thank you, Lieutenant Obvious.
All right, I'm gonna find some buildings to redress this real quick.
Sure.
I'll make it quite so. Ooh, what are these? They're Cardassian buildings? These might work.
Those are nice buildings.
I've been tinkering with those lately, yeah. They would kind of work for Voth, I suppose.
Or whatever civilization used to have this.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's the other point. We are going with the idea that the Voth sees this colony, not building it.
Yeah, I'd say this is like an old outpost of an Iconian servant race.
If that's the case. Let's see what we got in ruins.
Yeah,
ruins would be good.
Yeah, those bomb bunkers look good.
Mm-hmm.
Could work with something smaller.
Buildings are all with the white texture as well.
Yeah. But it's not insurmountable.
Exactly. It's a pain, but it's not insurmountable.
Potentially annoying, but hey, you know.
I have no idea how this is going to look. Which is probably kind of fun.
Can be fun sometimes. Using an object, but only using like a small corner of an object. Just to make maps look different.
Mm-hmm. Building, like the sides of buildings used as walls are wonderful in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little testing here since we know they occasionally, maybe not so occasionally, omit Foundry related things from the patch notes. So I'm just gonna go double check whether this whiteness issue is still happening on Tribble.
Good plan.
And you're gonna make sure we can still get to those holding cells.
That's the plan.
Or at least one of them. We don't necessarily have to get to both. So Mark, did you ever answer your question that you posted on the forums, whether there were any buildings that don't have the big pedestals on them?
The generic colony buildings.
You think that'll work for making a skyscraper?
I did note, however, that there is one Cardassian building that you can make into a skyscraper because its pedestal is, well, the building itself actually has multiple pedestals, one of which is at a higher level than the other one. So you can just simply have two of them stacked so that the duplicate pedestals are on top of each other.
Cool. I do have a mission that I would love to have some skyscrapers on, just to be outside a window.
But yeah, the generic colony buildings seem to be the best option.
Yeah, I don't...
This is interesting to see how Dragoon does things. Because, of course, he is one of the masters of taking a cryptic map and making it almost unrecognizable.
I'm skipping a lot of preview steps here.
Yeah, God knows what this thing is going to look like.
Yeah, normally when I'm working on something like this, I'm previewing after every second or third object I put down, and...
Oh, at least. So if you had your choice, I mean, we know Gecko's bringing a bunch of things over from Neverwinter. So if you guys had your choice, what's one thing that you hope is one of those things?
Ledger.
Thinking the Nudger. That's a good choice.
I just haven't paid attention to Neverwinter because it doesn't work for me.
doesn't work like literally, or not your thing?
Literally since I uninstalled the game because literally since beta I've been unable to use the Foundry tool over there, and the game itself is not that interesting. I was really only interested in it for the Foundry tool, and since it wasn't working for me, had no interest in using it. Mainly I think we're already getting the thing that I really want, which is subscribing to authors specifically. As a player,
we don't know when that's coming, but it has been mentioned for sure.
It was supposed to come out with Season 8, but got pulled for
wasn't working
it wasn't
correctly.
Ready. I'm previewing this, see what happens.
Well, what about you, Drogan? What's the one you're most looking forward to?
Well, I like the campaign system. I think, being able to link your missions together into a series, if they are a series, I think that's great.
Oh,
because in my old series, I used to have problems where people would play like the last one. And only the last one.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, well, when I was testing on the beta, it actually had this little feature where you play part 1, and then when you finish, it'll ask you, do you want to play part 2? Mm-hmm. That would be awesome to have.
Absolutely.
Well, this looks very ruiny.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a quick throw together,
it's very different. Obviously, it puts some of those buildings up in the air. You'd probably want to sink those in a little bit.
Yeah. But I think, like for now,
these ruins buildings is that you can do a variety of things with them depending on whether you sink them or not.
True.
Because you see, you have that railing. You can set the railing so that it's right at ground level, or you can sink the whole thing.
For now, though, it definitely makes it look like very chaotic, which I like.
Chaotic is good.
Obviously, I would have to go in through with a fine-tooth comb and
yeah.
fix all of these exposed edges, but I think for now...
Yeah, for now, it's good.
This will work well for our needs for now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, so some of the ruin buildings you placed up high are placed where you can see through the bottom of them.
Yeah, you'd have to set those to negative something or other, or change them to zero out. Yeah.
Or put a flat platform on the view.
Yeah, if you wanted them up in the air like that, you definitely want to stick a flat platform.
All right, I'm not going to worry about too much. Either or, it's navigatable.
Hey, Brandflakes. Brandflakes is in the chat room.
Whoa.
Hey,
Hello, Brandflakes. Awkward moment, of course, is because we did not use Brandflakes' Mirror Universe suggestion.
Yet.
We could come up with some way.
We saved it for the sequel.
Maybe this outpost is from the Mirror Universe.
Hey, Sorbane's in. Cool.
Yep.
So that's good. So I would set the spawn point up in that north room.
Well, I'm thinking we should finish there and do the whole, they have an Iconian gate, or that's why they're here, or something like that.
Yeah.
So spawn here first, where you've got it right now. And then you go up and investigate that room.
Mm-hmm. And then you end up down here, or down in the prison cells with which, while I'm thinking about
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
You see contact, ambassador, in the cells.
Mm-hmm. I've never tried to place anybody in those cells before. I don't know how.
As long as they're not obstructing with any geometry, it should work.
Guess we'll find out.
And
for those of you just joining us, we're on the third map of our mission. The mission as it stands now, you are tasked with finding a Federation diplomat who tried to go make peaceful contact with the Voth, using advanced technology to get to the near edge of the Delta Quadrant. And you ran into a fight between the Undine and the Voth. You went in on the side of the Undine and rescued them. They told you that there's a Voth outpost down on this nearby planet, and that's what we're building now. So, Dragoon, you're looking for a wall here.
Yeah, I'm taking what I think is the science walls, and I kind of want to do a quick redress of the interiors. Maybe. Again, I'm eyeballing all of this. Just now I can not look like Haki's lair.
Now this is where Snap to Grid is helpful.
Yes. Hopefully I don't get too much clipping out of it.
Well, you'd go back afterwards and offset them by 0.001 or something.
Okay.
Do love multi-select. I don't know how we did it without multi-select.
Actually, the multi-select came out like halfway through while I was building part 1. And originally when I was building it, I ended up having to rebuild. I think I had to rebuild that city. Mm-hmm. And it all had to be done manually.
Ooh.
I'm running into the problem now where I have, in my mission that I'm sort of revamping, I have old Romulan mobs that I put on there, right when the Foundry went on to holodeck. And so they're actually out of date with the current Romulan mobs that are in there. And so they give me an error if I try to move them.
Really? Can you delete them?
Well, not mobs, I should say.
Wow.
NPC contacts. Yeah, I can delete them, of course. I'm going to have to because I need to move them.
You know what they say, you'd be surprised what a fresh coat of paint can do.
This is true.
So sometimes it makes you realize that there's more screwed up than you thought.
One thing I'm seeing here is that it actually shows, I think, a piece of rock that goes along the ceiling on this mini-map.
Yeah. Probably some kind of rock arch they used in the cave.
Probably.
I think
yeah,
the reason
some of them have on the map that you see here, it actually shows you things that are high up in the air.
Pull back on the map.
With, one of the Bajoran themed maps.
Pull back on the map just a little bit, Dragoon.
Brandon wants to know if there's Voth contacts in.
Space contacts.
Space?
Well, not quite. There are space costumes in the costume creator for the Voth ships.
Okay.
Right.
As far as I know, there are no Voth NPC contacts and no Voth in the
yeah, there are no contacts
in the costume.
Yeah.
So what I was asking you to pull back for there was so that Brandon had a good look at what the white texture issue looks like to authors. Cause you have all those buildings that are showing that white texture.
And it's actually showing it on these walls too.
Yeah, but thankfully it's still got the outline so I can see what I'm doing.
Which is nice. So you've got those rotated differently, that's why they're not lining up.
Yeah, those big white blocks, Brandon, that you saw, normally those are textured to look like the building that they are. And you can see when you put details somewhere on that building or on that white block. But the way that it's working now, we can't see anything aside from the white blocks.
There's the buildings. It's an annoyance, but hopefully they'll get it fixed here.
Yep. It's something that can be worked around. It's just real pain is all.
Okay. See how in the world that came out. That's kind of those weird things. I mean, it's such a...
But Frank said that the white building issue is considered an urgent bug.
Yay! Thanks for that, Brand.
We appreciate that.
No, yes, we do appreciate getting to hear these kind of things. Yeah, I kind of like the entrance of that. Yeah, it makes its own ceiling. Nice.
Yeah, you got them close enough together
that like now.
Make its own ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about these walls is that they have that kind of like a half arch thing at the top of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of things you can't do because of that, but there are a lot of fun things you can do.
Okay, gotta watch my the gaps in my wall, but other than that, I'm really liking how this is turning out.
Yeah. You still got the Indian gate or the Iconian gateway in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking good. Well, why don't we throw down some NPCs and some objectives?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll have our third map.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to...
And I guess Brent likes it too.
Yeah, well, this has kind of been a experiment.
This is a quick and dirty kind of a thing here, but it's looking good.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Quite effective.
Actually, gotta use a foundation for this. Something really big.
This is so funny. I keep trying with my mouse occasionally, trying to zoom, and I'm like, oh wait, Dragoon's the one doing this.
Yeah, Dragoon, zoom in. Wait 5 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna put the ceiling in because I just realized if I put it on now, I won't be able to see where I'm putting anything.
Yeah,
okay, let's put...
Brent Flake says he's got to run. He's
Thanks for
getting
stopping
headline
by,
for work for the day. Thank you very much for stopping by. Brent Flakes, of course, joined us in our first ever episode way back in February.
Yeah, he's diligent like that. Okay, so I probably want some enemies in here. I have no idea what 10, 2, 2, 8, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4 untranslated is. Okay, so...
This is interesting. I put on the map just to see what it is.
I'm trying to break something.
That's what the save button's for.
Yeah, but if it still crashes, we lose the stream.
PF Dennis says that it's a Dominion mob.
It's like a stealth Dominion mob. Okay, so let's put a commander group here outside the gate.
The whiteness issue does not appear to be fixed on Tribble at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that the untranslated one is Jem'Hadar Incense.
We're not doing any of those in this. Alright. So how does we play this out? I mean, it's kind of time to figure out what the...
Where it ends.
I'm going to do like a, search the north room for the diplomat would be the first objective, and I'd say I'd put a reach marker up there.
Yeah, we are the team that came into rescue.
Mm-hmm. And so you go up there, there's a couple Voth mobs along the way. It says, a dialogue up there after they hit that reach marker says something like, our diplomat isn't here, but look, it's an Iconian gateway. That must be why the Voth are here.
Mm.
And then it says, we'll deal with this later. Let's keep searching for the diplomat.
Do we want to put a battle in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's put a commander. We don't need any captain groups just yet.
And Rowan's like,
yeah, we got to end it on a captain group.
Yeah.
Captain groups spawn the Ceratopsid mobs.
I have them working on the gate here.
like that one. Have been tinkering with the gate controls, but like they're trying to figure out what makes it work.
Yeah.
Bazag is reminding me of the old Super Mario Brothers, where you get to the end of the level and sorry, your princess is in another castle.
Pretty much.
It's like, sorry, your diplomat is in another room.
And in an interesting coincidence, the enemies in both situations are reptilian.
This is true. We're fighting Koopas here.
Ooh, idea.
I seriously hope they have some Goombas.
We could name them Goombas.
I was going to say we could throw in a Voth scientist you have to interrogate, but we don't have any Voth contacts.
No, I'm afraid we can't do that yet.
Maybe we can put in a some ensign. Maybe you find an ensign that
the shuttle pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I click around on things randomly while I'm trying to think about what it is I actually want to do.
Yeah, just find a Starfleet ensign or something.
Yeah, Benzite I've used a million times. Now, working on part 2, I think I've literally used like every Starfleet, generic Starfleet person I can find.
Oh yeah, I had to do the same in Purity 6 because it required a whole bunch of Starfleet personnel to be fighting each other. So I tried to have them all as different as I could, but I was running up against the costume limit.
So,
which is 50, in case anybody listening doesn't know. 50 costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. I might run into that myself.
Didn't they increase the costume limit recently? Or did they increase it to 50?
Maybe they increased it to 50. I just know that it's 50 now. I know they increased a bunch of those limits a while back, but I don't remember if costumes
I think it was a season 5. No, it's season 6. They updated it.
You might be right about that.
Okay. So something else I think we should do is we cannot leave a Iconian gateway in the hands of the Voth.
We should destroy it.
We need the explosives.
Good.
We need to set us up the bomb.
I use fire extinguishers.
I use the canister.
Canister works well.
Vote for canister.
Yeah.
How big is the crate that has a bomb attached to it?
It's not very big, as I recall.
Because you might be able to hide the crate by sticking the crate inside the gate arch.
I think
I think for the sake of time, you'd just want to use the canister, because that would take a few things to figure out if you hit it or not.
All right.
Yes.
I need to lay down some story here.
Yeah, some objectives.
Okay, so currently we've got a reach marker telling us to
Relentime is telling us that he tried to do that for one of his missions, Epos, but the crate was actually bigger than the gate prop.
Yeah.
So parts of it would stick out. Or at least he thinks. He doesn't sound very sure here.
I'm trying to remember, how far did Bomb make it on the asset request list?
I think it was in the top 25.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I know it was in the top 25.
Trying to use them, and they're like, oh, wait.
Yeah, so we got our reach marker there. And then talk to the ensign guy. And then he'll tell you what's going on there.
Okay, I'm not going to go on this dialogue just yet. I'll come back to that.
Something like they're trying to activate this. They interrogated me. They kept asking me over and over if I knew how it worked. But I don't know anything.
Okay, so actually I have 2.
Benzine. Perfect.
I don't know if I'll keep the benzine. I don't think I want to. I think I don't want to have it be science. Because then you can make a reference to, they wanted me to help them figure out the gig, but I'm not a scientist.
Primar in the chat room just said bomb did make number 5 on the list of the assets.
Yeah. So remember, because I made a note on it to make sure that they knew exactly what we were referring to there.
Because how many cryptic missions are there where you walk around on the map and then you place one of those things somewhere to blow something up?
Oh God, like 10?
I can think of at least 3 on. I mean, let's see, Sphere of Influence, one of the STFs has you do that. One of
the first one
with
Miral Paris. Whatever the name of that one is.
Weren't you actually deactivating them in there?
Yeah, I think you were deactivating.
Yeah, you were deactivating them, but as far as I know, the asset was just the bomb, because I don't remember ever seeing crates.
No, that wasn't the crate. I don't know quite where the crate comes from.
Yeah.
Because, of course, all these things are in-game somewhere.
I think it comes from, like, one of the star bases.
That's possible.
The crate is actually designed to be a vendor prop. It's one of those things where you see vendors, they stand there and they have all sorts of junk behind them so that it looks like they have stuff to sell. Well, the crate's one of those.
It's one at the end.
Wait, so the vendors in the game have crates with bombs attached to them?
Somewhere.
That's wild.
Gotta find that.
It's not something that's actually used
in the requisition areas.
Used for a prop.
Right, it's just
like on
Earth
Space Dock.
At the vendor who sells hypos.
Oh, right on.
In the area with the whatever that is, the costume designer, the tailor.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're working on here, June.
Well, you remember those circly glowy effects?
Mm-hmm.
I'm placing those as the indicators to tell you where to place the spatial charges.
Nice.
Excellent.
And this will help fulfill the thing that Stouts wanted to suggested we put in the mission, which was explosions.
Yes, we got an explosion in.
We have an explosion.
We're on a roll.
And we can use a mirror universe mob that we reskin, and then we've kind of used the mirror universe.
Relentime is asking what exactly is the name of that glowy asset that you're using?
Light Ray Small 01.
A Light Ray Small 01.
There's also a Light Ray Small 02.
Because I have to confess, I didn't really know that was in there either. So that's helpful.
I've always used when I need to do. I've personally just written down Light Ray Small 01 because I always just use the top of lamps and sink them way into the floor. And
this is easier.
So you can just see little, circles where you want someone to stand or do something.
I've definitely got a couple of missions where you plant a bomb that would be very useful for.
Yeah. I'm working on one right now that I want to have a spot where I want 4 spots that I need that. This is going to be really useful, this light ray.
Let's see. Bazag says he uses the blinking FX to indicate a place to put something.
Lincoln in Space uses the auction glow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna...
Lincoln uses auction glow for things like this.
I can see definitely using auction glow.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of a, I don't know, like an area that's supposed to look like a cone of light that doesn't have a top on it.
Well, I think auction glow is meant to go with those overhead lamps.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of those huge things. They're kind of oval shaped.
I don't think I've ever used it. Well, maybe I have. I built a Klingon bridge once that might have it.
They actually, those auction lights actually, the ones Mark's talking about, do provide a decent amount of light to a room that's been made dark by putting a ceiling on it or something.
Oh, I can remember that.
So we're really quite limited on lighting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
now you're
you're
adding a place to trigger the bombs. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Run down the hallway a little bit and then hit an interact object, and boom.
Yeah, I agree with what Relum Time just said in our chat room. I really wish we could adjust lighting on maps.
Yeah, I would love placeable lights.
Mm-hmm.
I think Neverwinter has placeable lights.
I'm not sure about that. I haven't played with it enough to know.
That's not what I need.
We're right about it.
Well, it's okay if we go a little longer.
Well, no, I was saying we're right about it. The point of I'm looking forward to testing this map. I want to see what things look like.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
As I say, as far as time limit goes, we can go a little longer because we won't put this one up as audio, and that's where the limit actually is.
Yeah.
The SoundCloud only will take 2 hours unless you pay for it, and I don't particularly want to.
I don't think so.
So. A cave wall. Maybe just a big rock.
Well, don't make it too complicated. We still need to get to the ambassador and get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
we want to throw in a Greendragoon style cliffhanger. You end the mission
next week.
You ended surrounded by Voth. Hundreds of them.
Good.
Even rock.
What?
The white, the texture thing. I didn't realize it was affecting rocks too.
It's almost everything as far as I can tell.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, Relum Time. If we put a Greendragoon cliffhanger in this, we wouldn't have another live stream for 2 years.
Okay. I see what you're doing here, Dragoon. You're collapsing the tunnel, essentially.
Yeah, since I can't hide the gate, I gotta collapse the tunnel.
That'll work.
Alright. You don't appear until...
The ambassador is... Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Bazag in our chat room with terrible puns. Those are rocks. That's what makes it a cliffhanger.
I mean, we could.
The ambassadors. Pax knows the ambassador is not only an Undine, it's the former Admiral Zell or Yell. What is it, Yell?
It's Zell.
I think
it's Zell.
Yeah.
I think he meant Zell. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kestrel called him Zell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what we could do is if we could leave our progress and then pick it up next week.
We certainly could. We have sort of one more week and then Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, I was planning to sort of take a break on. I don't know what you guys were planning, but
that sounds fine.
It's good for me, and then pick it up there and on the next week after that.
So, there's another...
We're going to do a test play before we sign off?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll definitely take a look at this, right?
But
I do have
we have to fill in a few blanks before we publish it.
I have another quick community question. Obviously, we're not going to try to live stream, every week. But we obviously, and this has at least been successful in that, it's working. People can hear us. They can see what we're doing. So, it's not always necessarily going to be mission building, but if there are other things you guys think could make an interesting live stream in some way, please let us know. So,
Dragoon, of course, is spamming kill target.
Yeah,
getting some nice XP.
There's the glowy effect in action. I didn't put any air down.
Oh yeah, I like that.
And of course, I forgot to get rid of the ensign, so she's going to die now.
I'm so going to use that.
Instead of beaming her back up to your ship, she's a lost cause.
We didn't come for her.
Collateral damage.
I should put in some kind of... where's my interact?
Uh-oh.
Is there an explosion?
Ensigns are meant to die.
I bet you 10 to 1 my...
Your object must be... maybe sitting on top of the tunnel?
That's probably it.
Yeah.
All right. Set it to 0 altitude. I bet it'll come back down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're simply too far away from it. You're still inside the room. It's halfway down the tunnel.
He was halfway down the tunnel.
Yeah, he was down the tunnel enough, I think.
I put it right in the center of my reach marker, and I reached that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going that far.
So you need to despawn that ensign.
Yes.
We're beaming you back to the ship.
Objective complete. Now, if I brought in one of those broken NPCs, I could do that. Weird, but very buggy beam out effect. Which would have crashed the game as soon as I tried to exit. Probably wouldn't be a good idea.
It'd be nice to have an actual beam out effect that we could use.
I'd love full control of transition animations.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, those would be good to have.
Are there any other problems that you guys noticed? I think everything else appeared just about where it's supposed to.
Yeah, so far.
All right.
Bazag in the chat room is asking, what's everybody's favorite? Archer, Kirk, Picard, Cisco, or Janeway? I say Cisco.
I say Kirk.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Either Cisco or Archer. One of the two.
Well, go Archer, and then we'll all pick somebody different.
Yeah, right?
Although
Janeway.
If you guys haven't checked out the Federation First 150 Years book, I suggest you do so. It's pretty cool.
It's on my list.
it has some more stuff with Archer that I won't spoil with you. That stuff that wasn't seen on the shows.
Cool.
That makes you think he's maybe a better captain.
I never thought he was a terrible captain.
Just thought he was a bit volatile, perhaps.
Both are hard.
I mean, how many times did he ask, did he threaten to knock somebody on their ass?
A lot.
In the pilot.
Relum, your Commander Evans is not my favorite. She made me think of Shelby, which means she was someone I loved to hate, which is a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
See, he hates Shelby. I like Shelby.
She grew on me, given time, the character of Shelby.
Well, and she's kind of supposed to. You're not supposed to like her at first, I think.
Right. And I will say that in that big long break between seasons there, after not knowing what was going to happen to Picard, of course, and I would have been totally okay with Captain Riker and Commander Shelby going forward as because
of course that whole story is Riker's story. It's a big 2-part Riker episode.
Yep.
So you're supposed to sort of follow his journey as he first really hates Shelby and then grows to respect her.
Hey, I managed to kill them. Hello, Starfleet.
Yeah. No pressure. I mean, you're showing off your combat abilities here.
Yeah, with a Foundry character.
Yeah, I was going to say your combat abilities with your Foundry character.
Well,
see, you've got a Lieutenant 4 Foundry character, which is right about where mine is. I know a lot of you guys have leveled yours at various times.
Yeah, my VA who actually has, equipment appropriate for
yeah, a lot of times it has to do with just the experience you're getting. You slowly level by testing your missions.
I worked to get her to Lieutenant. Explosion.
So obviously that did fix the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, you should remember that my Foundry character is 2 years old. So.
Oh, I know.
Mine's as old as the Foundry is, but I never took advantage of any of the leveling stuff that you could do.
Yeah.
Really, it's a test environment. I'm like, it's.
No, I don't test any combat really until I publish. So.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
I only leveled it up as far as I did, just because so I could claim the Steam Runner.
One of my first missions, I decided to put an inordinate amount of combat in it, and this was back in season 3, where combat objectives were not optional ever. So I ended up, every time I play tested the mission, massacring about 100 Klingons.
Dragoon, Relum noticed something he's pointing out in the chat room is the explosion is set on the terrain, so it's showing up above the cave.
Good catch.
Same problem we had with the...
Good catch, Relum. Yep, good catch, Relum.
So they're showing a valuable thing for folks here is, how to troubleshoot these kinds of problems.
Mm-hmm.
So the next objective, since we got this working properly, I think we should probably do like a reach marker down in the cell area. So investigate the next room.
Mm-hmm.
Then you find our diplomat.
Yeah, troubleshooting things like this is always easier when you have 5 people who know what they're doing looking over your shoulder.
And a chat room with 6 more.
6 more. It looks like we have 11 people viewing. Oh, of course,
which
4 of them are
counts
us.
The 4 of us, yeah. So 7 folks. Now he's putting his ceiling on.
Oh, that's not right. On field.
Oh, ceilings have to go in last. It's just that simple.
Yeah, especially with...
Really, I mean, of course, had you known that you wanted to do a ceiling, you could have put it in first.
Except that I was following the curvature of the existing geometry, and that was going to block that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's fill in some details, at least for what we got so far. I call it Lieutenant Soul. Or Seal, or something like that. Because I can.
Hey, at the end of the day, it is your mission.
Actually, it's all of our mission.
Yeah, but it's on your account.
Yeah.
So you'll get all the fat loots from it.
The tips, anyway.
Anyone who thinks that the Foundry is the place to get fat loots.
I keep wanting Rogue Enterprise to divulge how much he's made off of.
Yeah, but it's like a 2-year-old spotlight. You know, no matter how much you've made on something like that. I mean, my spotlight is a year old at this point, so it has made a fair amount of dilithium, but it's taken a year to make that much dilithium. I could have made that running around and doing things in the game in far less time than waiting for the Foundry to pay off on dilithium.
The tips are just that. They're tips. They're not a salary or anything like that.
It's been over a year since I've emptied my tip jar, and I have 1,225.
Sometimes it is fun to just kind of let it sit there and see how much accumulates.
Yeah. Loots with a Z, Baz, a Z.
Yes. So we're entering dialogue for our ensign here that you find down there.
Mm-hmm.
Any input is greatly appreciated. Just writing.
See, the problem is that, like, at this stage of mission creation for me, I'm usually first thing I'll do is I'll create, the faces of the NPCs that I want, like I said at the beginning, and then I'll skeleton out the storyboard. And where I need to say this is going to be a custom ground map, I'll just go ahead and create a map with a name like Custom 1 or something and just slide in the whole skeleton. So usually the dialogues are things like, thanks, guy, or beam out kind of thing. They're instructions for what need to go in there later. Writing dialogue as fast as you are. Yeah, like writing dialogue as fast as you are, it's just beyond me. I can't do it.
I kind of just run with a conversation in my head and see where it goes, or find it from there.
Oh, and Relin's like, before Pure Day, I only made a total of 700 dilithium on all my missions.
Relum says use the words, I'm a politician, not an engineer.
I'm no scientist, I'm a pilot.
That'll work too.
Get me out of here.
Yeah. Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a doctor. Wait a minute.
How many doctors?
A line very similar to that was uttered by McCoy. Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a brain surgeon. Wait, what?
So I just didn't take that extra year at school.
Well, I'm a doctor, not a doorstop was one of the ones done by the EMH in Star Trek First Contact. You see him for all of 5 minutes, but before the Borgs squish him.
Can't use the ship name in the button, so maybe I'll have one of the bridge officers actually contact the ship.
There is an addition I would love, actually, being able to use the tags like ship name or rank or first name and last name in your buttons and in your captain's dialogue and such. I'd love to be able to do that. That'd be great.
That'd be nice. Well, I mean, It'd go in hand with the old suggestion to be able to use your bridge officers' names for the actual names on the text boxes.
Yeah, they'd before they can fix that in the Foundry, though, they have to fix the fact that your department heads and your first officer are on slot every time you change a map in the main game.
According to the Tribble patch notes, that may be fixed.
Oh, that's cool. From a role-playing sense, as someone who thinks about, my character's backgrounds and stuff, I actually spend time at the start of a lot of maps reslotting people. Lincoln says we need more lens flare.
We haven't had any lens flare to the Foundry.
We do. We have lens flare.
You have lens flare?
Well, it's same lens flare that's in the rest of the game.
It's horrible lens flare effect or something?
Does that actually work, though?
Yeah, it does.
Horrible bloom effect.
No, it's horrible white.
Yeah. White bloom or something, yeah. Primar just said it's not fixed in the chat room.
Well, every now and then you get things that pop up in the patch notes that aren't actually fixed.
Yep.
Well, it's possible that they attempted to fix it, and like the previous attempt to fix it, it was only partially successful, or, not.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to do something different then.
I mean, because what some people forget about this particular bug is that it was originally much worse than it is now. It used to completely wipe everything every time you change maps. Now it does some things sometimes, not everything all the time.
Alright, I'm going to finish up this conversation as a pop-up dialogue, so it occurs after the objective complete and the ensign disappears.
Excellent.
Actually, if I time this just right, she'll disappear partway through the conversation.
Oh, we'll never see that, Relum.
What's he want?
He just said patch notes for December 25th. Foundry works. All bugs fixed. Then he added patch notes for December 26th. Foundry broke.
Hey, well, in the meantime, don't you want an Eppo friend?
I really like Zero, but by the end of this winter event, I'm gonna want to choke that EPO researcher.
I told one of my Twitter friends today, I said, yeah, that voice haunts my dreams.
The one that I find amusing, I'd like them to get the timing on the voices down better, so maybe they're, not overlapping, or they're only happening, you only hear them when you're really close to them kind of thing. I love the obvious, Q has messed with the minds of the people there kind of thing, and, Q is the most wonderful being I have ever known. Thing. I love those. Those are hilarious to me.
My thought on it was basically that these people are really just figments of Q's imagination.
That's a good possibility.
They're not real.
Too.
He just snapped them and snapped fingers.
Yeah, that
and they were created.
that he just created them. I figure it's something like he wanted to be surrounded by people giving him adulation all the time. So for the entire winter event, you've got people saying all those wonderful things about Q, so.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Sycophants. Yes, Baz.
Like father, like son.
Hey, admit it, if you could snap your fingers and create some sycophants, you would do it too.
Okay. I'd at least try.
Actually, I would snap my fingers and create playtesters.
Yeah, but they all love your mission. Won't tell you what's wrong with it.
Only if I make them do it that way.
I think there are limits to Q's power. I don't think anything he creates
His ego?
has any sort of sentience or free thought.
So hey, let's touch on some of the other things we normally do in our show while we're working on things here toward the end. Like, what are people working on aside from, right now we're all watching Dragoon do this, and this is obviously what he's working on at the moment. But outside of what we're doing right here, what are people working on?
Actually, we went back and started working on my advanced incursion missions more.
Awesome.
Not a lot, mind you, but I decided that I want to do this thing where you are going through a holographic recreation of something that the Advaita did on Earth in a parallel universe, and that's why I'm building a city with skyscrapers, because it's supposed to be a partial reconstruction of a city on Earth.
Very, very cool.
That does sound cool. I've been doing some writing myself. Go ahead.
Actually managed to find a prop that makes a good substitute for asphalt, believe it or not.
What's that?
It's one of the Gates of Breathwork props. I forget what it's called, but...
Is it that wall?
Anyway.
One that looks like a Klingon castle wall?
That one, I could see that one.
It's a stone slab that's part of the top of the wall. See, because the breathflow walls are designed so that you have, like the outside that goes down, and then on the top you have this flat stone area that you can walk on. Well, there's one of those pieces that's an inside corner piece that doesn't have the stone edging on it because it's like a corner.
Cool. I mean, could it still be used in making, if you're using it for asphalt, I assume you're using it for a road or is it you're using it as ground?
Yeah, what it is I have to sync it to minus 3.2 in order to get it to lay on the surface of the ground properly, because it's 3 meters thick or something. And then it, when you look down at it, has a slightly shiny look to it like asphalt does, and it's black-ish.
Okay. I'm just thinking, so the corner doesn't have enough, is it geometry or art at the top that's making it a problem?
What are we talking about now?
I'm not saying that it's a problem. What I'm saying is that unlike the other castle wall pieces for the Gates of Breathwork stuff, this one doesn't actually have the stone wall attached to the side of the
Yeah, he's saying it's good that it doesn't have the stone.
Oh, it's good. Right on. Very
Because then you can make sort of like a road or something out of it.
It has this little tiny stone bump in one corner that you can relatively easily hide. Just stick it off to the edge of the road or something.
Very, very cool.
So I'm just kind of working on geometry while you guys are talking.
The problem is that when you put them side by side, the image file that it uses to skin the surface gets tiled automatically so that the pieces line up smoothly regardless of how smoothly you actually arrange them. So it has like a smooth, constant surface that only gets broken if they aren't put at the same height.
Cool.
So how do you guys want to continue, or?
Yeah. What about you, Drogan? You were.
Oh, no worries. Well, I say, why don't we end it here? Once we get this map basically finished, and then pick it up next week. We'll do another live stream. We will finish up this mission, maybe add a couple more maps, and then publish it for folks to play.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Seems like a good plan.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Anybody joined us in the live stream here?
Mm-hmm. Let's see, we got some responses in the chat room. Let's see to what we're working on. Relum says he just finished school, so of course he hasn't been working a lot up until now, but he's working on he's thinking about creating a sequel to his Epo mission. Which I don't know, have any of you guys played that?
I have. Please do, Relum. It's hilarious.
Nice. Let's see, Lincoln in Space says he's got 2 new missions. He's planning a change to the moon surface in a time to search, which I think you've played. Hippie, is that right?
I have. I liked it.
He's making a stealth puzzle instead of what's there now. I think it's pretty cool. Relum says he's also been thinking about making a 5-player puzzle mission. That would be interesting.
It does sound very neat.
Yeah. Pax says from now till Christmas. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to read what Pax said. Pax says he's going to be tweaking Valley of the Shadow 2 and remastering Ghosts of War parts 4 through 6 sometime next year.
Zorbane says he'll be working on his incredible bulk mission.
Yay!
Which I thought that was done.
I saw one of those
maybe
running around Champions Online.
Maybe there's more tweak.
Well, as always, I encourage Zorbane to acquaint himself with the source material of all of his wonderful superhero creations.
I think you should do Hellboy.
That'd be awesome.
Zorbane says, I thought it was done too.
I wonder if you could redo Hellboy as like an Undyne infiltrator that didn't want to.
Oh, he should redo Hellboy as a Klingon mission and
Grethor.
Grethor. Yeah, Grethor.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, one of the Klingon gauntlet props, if you only put it on one hand, would almost look like that.
Yeah.
Narrow passage.
Put it with claws and play around with the size of the hand, like it's bulk and stuff.
That's
I don't
really
think you can only do one hand. You would have to bulk both arms, unfortunately. But you would have like one arm with the giant gauntlet, and the other one just like ordinary shirt sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think this is problems for another time.
Yep. Well, I just want to remind everybody in the chat room, one of the reasons that we did this is because it's a lot of fun to work together and to play around with things in the Foundry and hang out in various places that you can chat with other authors and just we have a thing that lets us create missions. Sometimes we have to work around problems, but we can do that. And we do that a lot, as a community. So this is just
we've been doing it for years. I mean, we're very good at it. Big
encouragement, stay positive about what we have and keep the spirit of creation alive. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Absolutely.
So. don't do like a bunch of people on the forums and whine and gripe about things that are broken incessantly.
Yeah, celebrate the things that are not broken.
That is not to say don't report the things that are broken. God, yeah. but when things are broken, simply make the reports that they're broken and make sure that those are all getting, toward the right people, and then stay positive about what's not broken and what does work. So
I made up the motto the other day of how to post bug fixes or bug reports, which is precisely and nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Which is you got to have all the precise information about exactly where you were when you encountered it. For us, always include the mission title and the ST code. And then there's no reason to be a jackass about posting a bug report. Just say what happened. Well, guys, I think we are going to end it there for the night. I want to thank everybody who came out for the live stream. And, of course, thank you everybody who tunes in later when we get this uploaded. And we will be picking this up next Wednesday night at the same time.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.